Hi, my name is Judy. Today I have a Yin Yoga full moon practice for you. You might like a couple of blocks, totally optional. You might like a bolster, totally optional. And you might like a blanket or a towel to pad your knees, also totally optional. Two mats, stacking one mat on top of another can also help to protect your knees. I'm sitting on a block right now. I will go ahead and remove that, place it off to the side. Come into a tabletop position. So shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Curl your toes under and lift your hips towards the ceiling or sky if you're practicing outside. Lucky you if you are practicing outside. Let's take a few breaths here. Relax your shoulders, relax your forehead, relax your jaw. And then go ahead and drop your knees back to the mat, back into a tabletop position. And begin to walk your hands out in front of you. You might want to grab your blocks here. Placing your hands on blocks can make this pose feel a little bit better in some bodies. Or you might like a block underneath your forehead. I will offer you an affirmation for most poses anyway. And the affirmation for this pose, Melting Heart, is my life is full of loving friends and family. This is a Yin Yoga practice to honor the full moon. And the full moon is about fullness, literally, figuratively. It's about abundance. And it is about gratitude. And physically, in this practice, we will be strengthening our lower back, our side body, opening our side body, opening our hearts a little bit. Also thinking about in this first pose, one of the principles of Yin Yoga, which is to go to your edge but not fall over your edge. So moving towards sensation but away from pain. Go ahead and press into your palms to begin to lift your head up. And just walk your knees about towards the center of the mat and go ahead and sit back on your heels if that is comfortable for you. You can also take an easy cross-legged position if that's more comfortable for you. This practice will be approximately 40 minutes, more or less. If you have a bolster, go ahead and grab it now. If you have blocks, go ahead and grab those now. Take one block vertically towards the top of your mat. Take the other block horizontally, roughly towards the middle And place your bolster on top. Go ahead and try and make sure that your blocks are a little bit in so that they don't fall over when you lay down, which we are going to be doing. If you don't have blocks, no worries, you can just put the bolster on your mat. If you don't have a bolster, you can try using a couch cushion, a firm pillow. You can take a bunch of blankets or towels and roll them up. And if you don't have any of those props, again, no worries. I have a short tutorial on fish pose, which is our next pose. That's just doing fish pose without props, which might be a little tricky because we're going to hold this for a while. But you can always, if that's what you choose to do, if you don't have the props, you can always come into fish pose. When it feels like too much, you can just simply lay back down and come back into fish pose when you feel ready to. Any practice I offer you, you can make it your own. So you want to get your hips close to the bolster, but not right up against the bolster. We're trying to open our heart here, and we're going to lay down and just let our hands come out to either side. And actually, as we're doing this, I'm going to remove my watch. And do you like to practice without a watch on? And I encourage you to do the same. It helps to open up the energy channels in your body. And let the prana, your life force, really flow. Let me look and see what our affirmation is. I'm full of gratitude for my life. So the second principle of Yin Yoga, and these are in no particular order actually. Remember, the first one is to find your edge. The second one is to take about a minute to get into the pose, to make any adjustments you need, and then come to stillness. And by stillness, I mean you can still begin to let go more, to go deeper into a pose, but not fidgeting. If you are practicing fish pose on your mat, you can just slowly push your head along the mat, bringing your chin down to your chest, and then just lay back on your back. If you are in supported fish pose, as I am, you can take your hands behind your neck. You can also just roll to one side and then slowly push yourself up. But another way is to take your hands behind your back and then just slowly sit up. And go ahead and take your bolster, put it off to the side. Take your blocks off to the side. Bring your hips all the way over to the right side of your mat. Angle your upper body towards the left side, and then take your left foot over towards the left side, and your right foot comes to meet it. You're in kind of a C shape or a banana shape, which is the name of this posture, asana. And you're trying to get both shoulders on and both glutes onto your mat. So we're trying not really to torque our pelvic bowl, but just make that nice, relaxing, and slightly energizing C curve. It really opens you up all throughout your side body. You can take your hands longer and hold on to them and bring them down into goal pose. You do want them above your head though, so whatever feels right in your body. And our affirmation for this pose is, my future is full of exciting opportunities. Now you may have noticed the third principle of Yin Yoga in our last pose, and that is normally the poses are held for much longer. It takes at least 90 seconds to get into our connective tissue, which is what we're trying to strengthen in Yin Yoga. That's on the physical side. It also works on the subtle body, as it's called. And that, to my mind, works on your mental toughness. Holding poses for a long time can be challenging to a lot of people. And go ahead and let your arms come down by your side, moving your head back towards the right side of your mat, bending your knees, taking the soles of your feet to the mat, and then walking yourself across so that your hips are now on the left side, taking your body over towards the right. Arms come up above the head in whatever position is comfortable to you. Taking that right leg, stretching it towards the right side, and maybe scooching a little bit over, coming into that C or banana shape, trying to get your pelvic bowl relatively level and both shoulders on the mat. You can always take a rolled up blanket, you can take a block, any area that is, there's space between you and the mat, and you don't think it should be space, you can use these props to bring the mat closer to your body. My future is full of exciting opportunities. Go ahead and bring your spine vertical, and then bend your knees, taking the soles of your feet to the floor. And maybe walk your feet out about as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall in a little bit. Take a couple breaths here. And then let your knees fall over towards the left, stretching your left arm along the mat. Your legs come straight out. Your right hand is propping you up. And then press into that left arm to bring you up into side seal. We don't spend a whole lot of time stretching out the side of our body, and it's very helpful physically. It allows us to take fuller and deeper breaths. And you can also think a little bit about the shape you're making in this pose. It's named after a seal, obviously. We've all well, maybe not all, but a lot of us have seen seals laying on rocks. Also thinking about this full moon practice. Now, we're not in a full moon shape, obviously, but we are thinking about the moon and the shapes that it makes. And in this pose, it's similar to the crescent moon. I do think Yin Yoga is a really good practice during the full moon phase. The full moon is very young. It's very active. I think we've all seen lots of strange things happening around the full moon. So the Yin Yoga practice is a really nice counterbalance to that very yang time of the full moon. My future is full of exciting opportunities. And go ahead and bend your knees. Walk your hands back to your body. Bring them out to the other side. Again, stretching your legs straight out. Your right arm is pushing away from your body. Left arm is propping you up. And into side seal on the other side. My future is full of exciting opportunities. If this feels like a little bit too much, of course, you can always come down onto an elbow and just hold yourself up a little bit. Come onto an elbow like this, hold yourself up a little bit, or even grab a block. You can have a block underneath your hand. That may make the shape more accessible for you. You just have to experiment. Be willing to play. Try and relax your shoulders. One of the fourth principle of Yin Yoga is we are not warming up our muscles and we are not contracting our muscles. We don't want to do Yin Yoga with warm muscles. It can lead to injury. We can go a little bit further than our edge. So you want to try and relax in a pose as much as possible. In side seal, you're going to have a little tension in your arms, obviously, because it's holding a lot of your body weight, and that's fine. Where you don't want tension is in the shoulders. You don't want tension in the legs. They should be really relaxed. And then go ahead and walk your hands in towards your body while bending your knees, maybe grabbing a block. Take your block. And once again, whenever you use a block, you need to play around a little bit. I'm going to have mine on my highest height to begin with. Come into a squat. So knees are bending out to either side of your mat. And if you'd like, you can start out sitting on a block. You can stay sitting on a block. Elbows are bent. Hands are together in prayer position. And the elbows are just pushing against your knees just a little bit. And this is Yogi Squat. It doesn't really have a different name in Yin Yoga. We tend to hold it for longer. And really think about fullness. Think about the shape you are making, like a full moon. And our affirmation to think about in this pose is I step into my full power. And maybe you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit, in which case, take your hand, one hand in front, one hand behind. Go ahead and remove that block. And just come into an unsupported squat. And you are free to accept that challenge. You are free to reject that challenge. Do what's right for your body. I step into my full power. And wherever you are, go ahead and take your hands to the mat and slowly come down. That is a principle in all of yoga, moving through transitions slowly, thoughtfully. If we don't do that, we often get injured. For the next pose, you are welcome to grab a bolster again. If you don't have a bolster, you can bring the soles of your feet together in bound ankle pose. And one of the things you can do here is grab those blocks, put it underneath your knees to allow your knees to just relax into the blocks, and slowly walk yourself back. You need to adjust a little bit. Or a lot. Okay. Hands come down by your sides, or perhaps come onto your belly. Once again, thinking about that full moon, thinking about the fullness of your life, having gratitude for the fullness of your life. Our affirmation in this pose is I am fully present in every moment. Make any little adjustments you need during this first minute, and then try to come to stillness. Notice anywhere in your body you're holding tension. I just noticed I was really holding my shoulders up. No idea why. Maybe a different spot for you, but just notice it. And see if you can relax that tension, perhaps by breathing into it, maybe taking your hand to it. And see if you can just soften a little bit more. And if you do have blocks, you might want to go ahead and place them under your knees. You can also grab a bolster, place them under your knees. As we move into our final pose, which is either Shavasana, which is with your arms down by your sides, palms up, and your legs stretched out and opening to either side, or you can take your hands above your head. Because we're exploring our fullness in our lives, our full moon experience, I'm going to take my arms up above my head, which is known as pentacle in Yin Yoga. It's a really nice pose for immune strengthening as well, working on the lymphatic system in your armpits. But as always, it's your choice. Putting some support under your knees too can make this an easier pose on your low back, if that's something that you struggle with. And if you haven't already, and if it's comfortable for you, I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes or partially close them. Just withdrawing into yourself. Letting today's practice really fully integrate into your body. And continue to stay as you are, and I will cue you when it is time to come out. Opportunities for growth and fulfillment are everywhere. And go ahead and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, letting your breath deepen, coming back into your body. And maybe circle your wrists and your ankles in one direction and the other. Taking a deep breath, sweep your arms up overhead, stretching out from your toes all the way up to your fingertips, maybe wiggling a little bit. Eyes are still closed. Maybe turn your head from side to side. And then roll over onto whichever side feels comfortable to you, pulling your knees up towards your chest. Eyes still closed, if that's okay for you. Have your bottom arm stretched along your mat, cradling your head. Take a few deep breaths here. And keeping your eyes closed if they are, slowly begin to push yourself up into an comfortable seated position, perhaps on a block. Bring the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. Begin to rub your hands together, bringing yourself back into the present. Go ahead and place your hands over your top of your head and slowly begin to bring them down over your eyes. If that's comfortable for you, pausing here, feeling the heat from your hands sink into your eyes, and then just slowly bringing your hands down the rest of your face. Palms together again in front of your heart. Head bows over your hands. Begin to slowly blink your eyes open. Raising your head, taking in the room, putting a smile on your face. Thank you so much for joining me today. Give yourself gratitude for taking the time for yourself today, filling your cup so that you can fill everybody else's cup. I hope that you enjoyed this full moon yin yoga. I hope that you will think about the fullness of your life, about all the opportunities that are waiting for you. And every day, go inside, find the calm, the bliss that is waiting for you.